Welcome, everyone. My name is Greg Revak. You can find me on Twitter at Coach Revak. I run Hockey's Arsenal with Dan Dukart here. We do the Hockey IQ podcast and the Hockey IQ newsletter. We also do some game analysis and different things like that with clients of ours. So really excited to share this presentation that I've done a few times now, but I think it's just so powerful. And if you haven't seen it, you'll definitely learn something. It's extremely powerful to take back for your own kids. So let's get going. Angling for defense, for offense. So what is angling? Angling is coming in not in a straight line, but rather on an arc towards a player, trying to close them off, close their space off. There's this great graphic that you see on your screen from Mitch Brown showing the power of angling here. And this will go into the next stage of why I think it's a skill. So Brian Rust here is taking an angle on Brown. If he is successful, he takes that puck and immediately turns on to offense. If unsuccessful, well, not exactly what you want to have happen, you're able to get your toe caps up ice in the direction that the other team's skating and recover very quickly. So it's a great tool to put in the toolkit and become very skilled at this. So let's dive into why I think it's an important skill, an important thing. And the common thing that you will hear at a rink is read and react, read and react. And while I think that's not the worst advice, I think there's a higher level to it, because if you're reading and then reacting, you're at the pace of the game or a pace below the game. What we really want to be preaching to our players is read and dictate. You know, players should have the ability and have the tools to dictate play, have this proactive mindset rather than just waiting for something to happen and then reacting, proactively controlling the game, dictating that game. So I think read and dictate is really where we want to go, and less from read and react. While read and react is something you have to do sometimes, for the most times, we can really get to the point where we can read and dictate on the game itself. So like I've alluded to before, angling is a skill. I think it's the most underrated skill in hockey. The main reason why is because players that take great angles and the angles that are provided control the entirety of the game. They are dictating the terms of play. So if you've got a player that's extremely good at angling and understanding the angles, they shape the entire game, which all other players must play on. And they can start to bend that game into their advantage. So super important skill. The most common one you'll see is F1 on the forecheck. And while that is important, I think the other important factor here, I was thinking about the players away from the puck, whether that be defense, could be in situations that are just not super clear. But if you watch the game closely, you start to understand that these are unbelievably valuable, unbelievably important, and truly dictating, controlling the entirety of the game. So for me, I like to think of it as we want to be actively taking oppositions into bad spots. We want to be actively taking away their lanes and really allowing yourself or your players to be very hard to play against. If you're dictating, controlling available space, and you're continually putting players in compromising positions, so whether they get a pass and now they're in a bad spot, or they just never get a pass, that is unbelievably difficult to play against and frustrates a lot of players, especially if they're not getting their puck touches, or if they are getting it, they're getting it immediately taken away, or they don't really have options. So super important. When we back this up one element to be effective at angling, there's ancillary skills. The big two are the ability to skate on arcs and stick awareness. So with skating on arcs, it allows you to show players space and herd them like you're a sheep herder. Very effective getting players to go places where you want them. If you're skating in straight lines, you're super easy to get around. And when this is done properly, you'll see players actually picking up speed into an opponent. The most common thing that I've seen and I've heard people talk about when we're talking angling is for players that have weak outside edges. Guys that don't have, or girls that don't have, a stronger outside edge tend to struggle with taking quality angles and the ability to close off space effectively, especially in this day and age where everything's less about hard contact and more about controlling space. So first thing I would say is if you have problems with players taking angles after you've worked on it, it's most likely going to be skating and something you want to look at there. Second big element to angling is stick awareness. How do players use their stick to influence play? First off, being able to steer opponents into bad ice or taking away the desirable passing lanes. And second is for contact and stripping away pucks, whether that be leading stick on puck or just jarring it loose with a little tick through the passing lane. So I often take a player's stick when we're doing this or someone's not doing it properly and asking them, what is this stick, and they go, oh, it's a hockey stick, coach, ha, ha, ha. Well, realistically, maybe we should be thinking of this as 4 to 6 feet of space and quality real estate that the opposition has to worry about. If you're not leading stick on puck and you're just going for contact, you're giving up that quality real estate. You're giving up that tool that we have to play with. So those are the two big elements. First, I wanted to show a video because I think it's so powerful to understand that no matter your talent level, this is an important skill. Here's Wayne Gretzky. Everyone thinks of his on the puck play, but realistically off the puck, he was a hound. He put sticks in passing lanes, great stick, took great angles and closed players off. And we're going to see this through these highlights that, yeah, he was great with all his wizardry skills, but he was also great off the puck, taking angles, controlling the game and controlling the space. Just absolute hockey genius. Excellent stuff there from Gretzky. All-time great for a reason. The next example I want to show is the classic that everyone can think of. You think of an F1, their role primarily is to take that play, split the ice in half, and force it onto one side where you can get a numerical advantage, take away the puck, etc. So I'm going to show Vinny Trocheck of Team North America. We're going to focus on his arc skating and his stick detail. This is just an unbelievable masterclass in stick detail. And his skating on an arc is also fantastic. So we're going to freeze frame this as we go along here. So as the clip starts, we're at the very bottom of the screen. We're looking at Vinny Trocheck in white going against Sweden here in blue. So to start the clip, we see Trocheck has his stick along the wall. The Swedish defender shoulder check to see that it's there, does not want to make that high risk play, exactly what Trocheck wants him to do, and forcing that play to go D to D or to the other side or continue to go back towards their own net. So we can see here, Trocheck starts to get on his outside edge, very comfortable with it as he's skating on an arc. That play has gone where he wants it to. Important here is he's using his stick to shepherd that play up the ice. He sees where that player is holding the puck on Sweden, understands that likely the D-to-D pass is what he wants to do. And he's putting his stick in that lane to deter that. So as we go along and scrub a little bit, we can see that the Swedish defender starts opening up to make that play either to the middle or up the wall. Trocheck realizes this, and while he's been trailing his stick and deterring that D-to-D pass, now understands that that's no longer the concern. We're going to watch him flip his stick. Now he's putting it in the middle, taking away that option. The Swedish defender realizes this is not the play, and now he's going to want to go back. Again, we can see Trocheck, he's on his outside edges, doing good arcs. Trocheck, again, phenomenal stick detail, taking away the middle, forcing this defender back where he doesn't want to go. Again, always has a great stick wherever the Swedish defenseman wants to go. His stick is there in the passing lane, shepherding what he really wants this play to go to. So now we can see the Swedish defenseman is kind of getting stuck. He's running out of space. He's getting close to the boards. The options are becoming very, very limited. Again, all because of one player, Vinny Trocheck, doing a great job with stick detail and closing slowly and showing him the space that he wants them to go into. Now we're going to see him lead stick on puck. All right, here we go. Awesome, awesome. It's great to see Vinny Trocheck get rewarded for this. So let's watch it in real time and just notice how great he is at shepherding this play where he wants it, putting the stick in the passing lanes, and taking away options. Wonderful, wonderful. And then gets rewarded with the goal at the end. Really should have been his the entire time. Awesome to see the hockey gods reward such great detail. So moving on, let's take an example of what a modern approach to angling looks like. And this is going to be with defensemen skating forwards, cutting the play off before it gets going. This is an opportunity for defensemen to be the aggressor. No longer are we seeing the classic back up between the dots, skate backwards, wait for the forwards to come to you. We're seeing defensemen read, understand that they have an opportunity to get a play early, nip it in the bud before it gets going, and really dictate the play. So I'm going to stop this a few times as we go along and point out the key details. So we're going to look at the medium right screen here. This defenseman is going to come over. He's going to see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Sharks below the tops of the circles. Really no support. This is a 1-on-2 effectively for Anaheim or for the Sharks. 2-on-1 as a defensive unit that they can become aggressive and nip this play in the bud before it gets going. Great stuff there. Now we're going to see it happen twice. We're going to see number 58 Letang in the bottom right hand of our screen. We're going to watch him come across, nip this play. Good stuff there. Again, defenseman, you can count, you can see you've got numbers. The other team does not. Great time to be aggressive, skate forward, angle players off, lead stick on puck, get big turnovers. Huge amount of contact is unnecessary. So let's watch 23, bottom right-hand corner again, coming across the ice to make the play. Another example here, bottom right, we're going to watch Dylan come across, take this play away. Number 3, Hall on Toronto, bottom left-hand corner, going to come across. Unbelievable play by Washington to get out of it, but still slows the play down enough to allow back pressure to get there. So what was probably going to be a 3-on-2 ended up being a 2-on-2, maybe a 2-on-3 at best. So great way to manage risk, phenomenal. So we're going to watch skating forward here, angling to the boards once, and then twice as we see Schultz come across. There's the first one. We can see skating forward, attacking, not just turning around, skating backwards and taking away the middle. We're going to actively go get this puck. So last one, got to end on a goal here. Toronto does a great job There are numbers for Buffalo. This player's his head down, can be put in a bad spot early. He tries to make a play, get a good tick on the stick on that puck, turn it over and go back the other direction. If we go back ever so slightly, we can see even if he does get beat in some way, we can see his toe caps right here are turned, skating up ice. He's going to be able to gap up, take away any kind of play. No big deal. While this used to be called a more aggressive and risky play, while it is aggressive, I would say this is the safest play that this defenseman can make right here. Excellent, excellent stuff. So we can see how important this is, that it's being used all over the ice in ways that we've seen it traditionally be used, in ways that we're seeing more and more as the trends progress of how it's being used to effectively play defense. So that's the one way. And there's always a cat and mouse, a yin and a yang to these things, right? That one side takes a huge step forward, the other side has to figure it out, and then they take a step forward. And while I've seen a lot on the defensive side without the puck, I have yet to see much come out about creating issues for players that are trying to angle you. So what about the offense? How do we create issues for the people trying to angle us? And I think this is the huge opportunity that people have to really showcase a skill to a player and really open their eyes. So the basic concept is the ability to control the defender's skates. The person trying to angle you, try to control their skates. And the best way that you can do this is skating directly at players trying to angle you, right? Their job is to slowly take you off and force you into a compromising position. And the way that they do that is they get on one side of you and push you to that side, to the boards, to the bad ice, to one of their teammates. So whatever that may be, but you can get back at them and lock in their skates and not allow them to do that by skating directly at them. All you need then is one fake move, you got them beat. It's very, very difficult to contain if you're skating directly at a player. Now, this isn't end all be all. If someone's got you gapped, they're skating backwards, you're skating forwards. Skating at them may not be the best move, but you're going to see how this pins players into positions and allows manipulation of space. So video here, skating directly at players, fast, slow, neutral zone, defensive zone, offensive zone. We're going to see all elements of how this can be an effective tactic. Unbelievable, just so effective. So let's watch Marner here. So this defenseman tries to pivot, skate backwards. He gets jammed by Marner going at him for a half second. Marner realizes that his feet are basically stuck in the ice, kicks it back outside, and this defenseman has to pivot again. Now Marner's got a step on him, probably 2 steps, and has the ability to make a genius level play. Awesome stuff there. So we can see it's an effective tactic, all 3 zones, all situations, and how you can place players in very compromising positions. But a specific area I want to talk about, especially you can talk about this with the players that are a little higher IQ, is the concept of saving ice. Benefit of not just controlling the feet, but controlling their positioning and allowing space to be open for when you truly want it. I call it saving ice because you're skating at a player, pinning into a position, saving open ice that you normally would have skated into for later. The most common mistake you'll see is players see open ice and they skate directly into it. Well, that space then immediately is going to be cut off. People see, oh, open ice, I need to close this space, be a defender there. And you'll often see that from weaker players or just players that are at a lower level. They don't understand this concept yet. So you'll see them skating themselves into open ice, into bad positions, rather than the ability to skating and controlling positioning, controlling feet. So I think the best way to do this is through an example of Torrey Krug. Absolutely phenomenal way of saving ice here. So let's break this down. So we got end-to-end vision here. It's man-to-man coverage. Everyone's going to spread out and play some one-on-one hockey. So right here, Parise realizes he's not in a great position. He probably shouldn't have started from the middle of the ice to play Krug. So at this point, he's just trying to turn around, skate backwards, angle Krug to one side of the ice. So he sees that Krug's going that direction. He's going to try to push him that same direction to our left. So what happens is Krug, rather than going to the open ice that's on our left side of the screen, he's going to skate directly at Parise. Now, if you watch Parise's feet, his feet do not take any strides whatsoever between the blue line and the red line. By that time, Krug's been building speed with these crossovers. He's been skating directly at Parise, holding Parise to that one side of the ice. Right? You can see him. He's locked in on Parise. He's staring at Parise. He's skating at Parise. Parise still hasn't taken any strides. He still hasn't crossed his feet. You know, his feet are effectively stuck. He doesn't have many options. You know, he's playing risk control, thinking that whenever Krug makes a move, he'll be able to skate with him. But Krug disguises this perfectly, saves this ice on the left side of the screen rather than skating into it early. By the time he knows he wants it, and he's locked Parise into a bad position, all he has to do is take 2 hard strides and be gone. Awesome stuff. Again, let's just watch number 11 here, Parise, and what this is doing to him. You can see all the tactics Krug is doing and how effective it is at creating open space for himself. He could have easily skated into that ice. He doesn't. He skates at Parise, saves it for when he wants it. Boom. When he knows he has Parise, takes 2 hard strides, and he's there. Awesome, awesome stuff. Great tactic. Saving ice, understanding positioning. That's why Krug's one of the best defenders in the world. So how do we teach this? What does this look like? I want to show 3 drills and 2 videos that I've taken. So starting with the neutral zone, line the attackers shown in blue here as forwards, and then got D, which are the anglers, shown in red on the opposite side. So you blow one whistle, this goes off on both sides of the ice, you get a lot of people involved. So once I draw this up, I'm going to explain the attackers, your job is to score. Defenders, you're not allowed to skate backwards. Keep it super simple and go from there. So here's what the video looks like after explaining that. So keep in mind what we've been talking about, saving ice particularly. Do we want to go down the wall? I want to pay close attention, pay very, very close attention to this player in white that's about to go here. See what he does. What he's going to do effectively is go down the wall, realize he's getting cut off, and try to cut back to the middle, by which time, way too late. So with that, I blow it down, bring the kids in, and I show them the exact video I just showed you. Asking a simple question, what does the defender want you to do? Everyone murmurs a little bit, and then someone finally mentions, oh, hey, go to the outside, keep them to the bad parts of the ice, put them into the wall. Okay, very obvious things for us. So the next question being a very rhetorical one, should you do that? Obviously not. So you do this drill, they do it completely wrong. They're doing it very ineffectively. They're doing exactly what the defense wants from an offensive side of it. Now we need to show them the opportunities that are out there. So what we do is get the assistant coaches involved, showing them doing it their way, where they skate into the open ice, getting excited. Oh, I see the open ice, go in there, and how ineffective that is. Then we show, what if we skated directly at the angling opponent? What does that do? They can see how effective it is. So we're showing the video, we're showing an example, we're giving some tactics, some ideas of how to make this happen. Now, as you saw with the drill, it's very cat and mouse. I'm not a big fan of putting stuff on the ice. Very little, if anything, ever touches the ice when I'm out there. I think there's so much value to playing the cat and mouse, testing things out and allowing them to get the reps to truly understand these angles. So this is the video directly after we had that conversation, and see the difference between the two. So some are better than others, but you can see they're starting to get the idea of not getting too excited to go to one area of the ice. So next up in line is our hero here in white that we just keyed in on. See what he does differently. See how effective this is. I'm going to play this twice because you need to watch the kid in the white, and then you need to watch the person trying to angle him and what happens to his feet. Look at the difference. Unbelievable. Now this time, watch the defender's feet. Watch how he gets his feet jammed, and it makes it so easy for this player who struggled so much the last rep. A little stutter step, spraying of the ice, and now boom, he's in on net. And then lastly, we're going to finish up on the smallest kid we have on this ice session on offense, going against the largest kid we have on this ice. And watch how the small kid is able to get the advantage over the big kid. Super powerful tactic here. Great learning all the way around. Awesome, awesome stuff. Again, cat and mouse setup. Rep it out. They start to understand. They start to get it. They start to understand what they need to do from a defensive standpoint and then from an offensive standpoint. It's just great learning both ways. Lastly, I want to finish up with two drills of how we can take this to other spots on the ice. We've done the neutral zone. So let's take this into offensive/defensive zone. Start with an attacker behind the net. Their goal is to get outside the blue line. They take the puck. Their only rule is you got to go around the net. Other than that, free wheel. You can do whatever you want. Chip it, slow up, slow down, skate into open space, skate at a player, whatever. So start usually one-on-one, some basic angling, just get a feel for it. But I think there's even an extra element that we can add is having one puck carrier with two defenders, two anglers. And then the second person can understand the defensive spacing that's required. Should they be close? Should they be further away? How can they read off their teammate? Is my teammate coming in too shallow? Is he coming in too high? Should I then position myself on the other side of that to understand he's giving this to the opponent? I need to be there because more than likely the opponent's going to go there. So really good cat and mouse game. I definitely would say get up to a 1v2 situation. And then lastly, small area games. Spot a puck to one side. That side becomes the offense to start. And then you've got defense on the other. They've got an angle. Again, same rule. Got to go around the net. But you can get this up from 1-on-1 to a 2-on-2, 3-on-3. And if you're crazy, go 4-on-4. I think 2s and 3s are the best because you can get a good sort and you can see players angling off of the puck and pushing players to bad spots on the ice. So if they do get a puck, it's bad. So spot a puck, play it out for 10, 15 seconds, continue that. Great stuff there. So thank you for tuning in to my presentation on angling here. You can follow me on Twitter at Coach Revak. Follow me all over the web. I do some writing for the coaches site. And then myself and Dan will also do team and individual video analysis, whether it be games, technique. Done a lot of stuff on shooting this summer through COVID, but also just talking with coaches on a lot of this stuff as well and being consultants. So really excited to help out the community. Glad you all tuned in for this. Really excited to share this great technique. Make sure to let me know how it goes for your organization and your team. Take care.